welcome to our SME Insights video. Today I'm talking to Roy Castleman from Twinwoods Adventures. Hi Roy, welcome.
Well there, how are we doing?
Yeah, good. Roy, when we talked, it's one of those conversations where you're like, oh, tell me more, I want to know more, because you couldn't have been more experienced in all of the areas that I was saying, hey, what about this, what about this? You're like, yeah, I've done this, da, da, da. I've made the mistakes, I've got the t-shirt. So I really wanted to just gain some of your wisdom, allow other people to hear your story and a little bit about who you are and your various business ventures. So thank you for joining us. I wanted to start with, like, who is Roy Castleman? What do you do?
What do I do? Well, I'm a product of my current and previous experience and my environment, I guess. I have tried really hard to build up a business, kind of a set of businesses, and yeah, but have fun. Yeah, have fun, enjoy life. Yeah, take today for what it is and do the best you can. I love business. I love the challenge of it. I love all the little intricacies of trying to get it working. And you said earlier about having lots of experience. I think that's only taught me that I don't have enough experience. In every single case, it's understanding. Yeah, when you get to a point where you say, well, actually, I don't know anything about this, then you've actually arrived, I think.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of why I set up this, was knowing that I knew nothing and wanting to kind of find out people who had more experience in doing other things. Because we can all learn from each other. Like, one of the things when we spoke, you're like, well, I've got 12 companies. Tell me a little bit about the companies that you run.
I guess probably if we look from the beginning, I guess the first company that I worked for, an IT company called Computers in the City. I started working there. I then went off and started a computer company after working for somebody. I've got a fair history back in South Africa of doing random things. I think my very first job was in a mushroom shed, selling packing mushrooms for supermarkets. And shortly after that, I was selling mushrooms that I bought from that same shed and making more money than the packing shed job. So I've always had that business kind of approach, trying to go out, sell newspapers, make money. And coming from South Africa, if you didn't work, if you didn't earn, you weren't going to get fed, and there was no fallback state. So I think that's given me a drive to go out and make something. I arrived in the UK in '97. Didn't have very much more than my t-shirt on my back. I think I got down to £75 was my last amount of money. I had my first job was actually for the BBC, and I worked as a spreadsheet operator. I didn't know what a spreadsheet was, unfortunately. So on the way down to White City, I went past a shop that was doing spreadsheet and Word courses for £75. And I had £75. So I went in and I said to the lady, listen, I've got to go for an interview now on spreadsheets. Don't know what those are. I have £75. If you show me enough to get the job, I'll come back and do the course. So she showed me how to do some things, went into the BBC, into this interview. First time I'd worn a suit and first time, all these things. Got the job. She said, can you start tomorrow? I was like, no, I've got something to do for the next 2 days. So I had to go and do the course. Went back in, handed over my last £75, and managed to get some food for the rest of the journey. I mean, that was it. We paid the rent for another week, and that was it.
Those are movie-making stories. Those are the stories that you see only in the films, like that's a fabulous story. I mean, you were saying as well, that's not the first time that you kind of blagged a job as well, was it? You did.
No. So after that, I went from there. I went and I have a bit of a history of job blagging. So I was now working at the BBC, and I had I kind of worked out the spreadsheet thing. I knew how to turn a computer on now, so I was ace. I'd noticed my mother was a credit controller, and she had been working in credit control in South Africa for many years. And she said to me, "That's an easy job." And I'd seen on the adverts, I was earning, I don't know, £8 an hour, £9 an hour, and I'd seen on adverts on various job boards that I could do credit control for £15 an hour. So I said to her, look, you just send me a list of things to do, and I'll go and get myself a credit control job. So unfortunately, in that day, we didn't have emails, so it was a fax, and I didn't have a fax machine. So she sent the fax to another friend's house, which I didn't get to because that was way down south. I didn't have money for the for the train down there. So I ended up just going for the job anyway. And she told me beforehand, look, you need to call people and ask them for money. That's really all it's about. So I just went in, entirely blagged it. Lots of experience in South Africa. Got a credit control job.
Amazing.
So I was there for a little while, and while I was there, my brother said to me from South Africa, "Look, I've started doing this IT stuff." And now this is '96, '97. Computers were just starting to come out. It was a whole new field. So he said, "Oh, I've started doing this IT stuff, and that's quite easy. You should do it." So I said, "Yeah, okay, fine." So for 2 months, I kind of had him help me a bit. He sent me his CV. He's Ian, I'm Roy. Obviously, we didn't have CVs on the same as we do now with all the computer stuff. So we literally, I Tipex out his name and typed mine in, sent his CV out to 15 different agencies, and they got an interview, my first interview. Went in, and the guy said, "Well, if you can go in, if you can do this job, and this job, then you can have the job." So he sent me out to his clients. No clue at all in the world. The first one was on German Street. I remember it well. I walked in the door and said, "Yeah, you got a computer problem? How can I help?" So they pointed me to the computer. At this stage, I had no clue at all. So I said, "Okay, that's great. Do you potentially have a toilet I can use?" Went off to the toilet, on the phone to my brother. "Right, I've got this problem. What the hell do I do now?" And spent 2.5 months on the phone to my brother. But as part of that company, I then brought the sales experience into it, built that up. Built that up from, I think it was £600,000 turnover when I joined there, and by the time I left, it was 4.5 million. And that was through myself and my brother's work, because before that it had been 600,000 for 4 years. So that company, Computers in the City, I eventually managed to acquire in 2017. So that was quite a gratifying acquisition. So.
Right, I bet, because it was your starting place. And you know what I hear in that story, like someone willing to take risks, like on the edge, really. I mean, I struggle saying that I'm proficient in Microsoft PowerPoint because I can only do the basics. That's a legal risk, right? But that's someone willing to take risks, and necessity being the mother of all invention. Okay, I can do this. I'm gonna just step out there. I've got £75 to my name. Like, tell me about with both businesses, your attitude to risk has to be a lot different. Probably to mine, but to most people. How would you describe it?
I am. Everybody else would say I'm far too risky. My mother just hates it. But I've learned that you have to test the water all the time. You were saying about you don't take risks because you don't know the whole job. And now if I had waited through my life and I'd waited until I knew the whole thing before I did anything, I would get nowhere. I read a really good book called Black Box Thinking. Okay, and Black Box Thinking is by a guy called Matthew Syed. And it approaches this minimal gains kind of concept, and it says, look, if you wait until you're finished getting the project ready, the whole thing has to be in play. And the whole project is not actually going to be that good, because by the end of that project, all the lessons that you learn along the way you'll only start learning them there. So I'll go through the escape room project that I've told you about and how we got to that. But at the end of the day, if you don't start working, find the problems, you never get to as good a product. You never get to as good a product.
Yeah, and I think this has definitely been my lesson coming out of the law and going into business was, you can't wait. You really have to, you can't get that perfect, whatever it is. I mean, I don't think I'm at the place where I'm just jump both feet straight in, which is where you're at. You're at slightly further along.
See, I don't see it like that, because I appreciate that I'm not actually jumping. I've thought all the risks through. In my mind, I have justified exactly what I'm doing.
The next logical step, aren't you? You're just taking the next. I love it, brilliant, and that's a real game changer for me in my thought process, because as long as I've thought it through, then there's a next step. I mean, this is to be honest, in doing these interviews, I was find people that both inspire and kind of give me that incentive, because me as a business owner, I am the person that's going to be watching this. So there are going to be people watching this now who go, oh yeah, you know what, I've heard that before, but it still feels a little bit too out there. But to me, I think, I mean, tell me a little bit about, this situation is different. So we're in an environment right now which is highly unusual, and there are no clear rules to it. Like, how have you found your risk taking to work in this environment now, or non-risk taking as you see it, like taking action? How are you finding it working?
One of the premises that I live by is accept the worst case scenario. Okay. Because if you don't accept the worst case scenario every day, all you're ending up doing is worrying about the situation you're in. So your past is your past. You can't do anything about your past. Your future you haven't written yet, and you write your future today. And that's it. You only have today to make it work. If you're worrying about what's happened, and if you're worrying about what's coming, you don't get anywhere. Now, you're saying about this risk side. Okay, the risk went away when COVID came. There was no more risk. But the risk has just disappeared. Anything that I had to accept the worst case scenario. I went from making 10 grand a day in this business, not the other ones in this business, to zero overnight. Okay, I went from working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 2 years to not having anything to do. And I thought, geez, I'm actually, this is great, because the whole of last year, we had a shocking year last year. We had all sorts of challenges. We had business challenges that a new company should never face. But the whole of last year, that was on me. Okay, it was me that was had to pull it out. If I hadn't done what I had to do, we wouldn't have got there. Now I've got some mates. The whole world's in it with me. It doesn't matter.
Everyone's at home.
Everyone's there. But what that means is, if you accept the worst, I've accepted the worst quite early on and said, right, this is the worst. That's it. We're going to have to close down. We're bankrupt. It's walking into, how do I deal with that problem? I sort it out in my head. That's all done. Okay. Now I've accepted the worst. Now, how do I make it better? What do I do for the next 10 minutes to make it better? What do I do for the next 30 minutes to make it better? What do I do for the next hour to make it better? And then I planned it out. And I sat there. I'm sitting here with a $2.5 million turnover company with all these lovely activities, and we have a soft play area. We have a salt cave, this gym and spa that's here. We have an indoor surfing place. We have an indoor skydiving. At the end of last year, we made an escape room. It's a massive place, and people have to be here. Okay, and now people aren't going to be here for 6 months.
So what did you do? How do you adapt to that?
So my first thought was actually, what am I doing here as a business person? Okay, what do I do as a business person? Basically, I answer pains, and I provide, for something that's missing. Okay, so my first thought was, what's going to be missing? Well, actually, what's going to be missing is people are going to be bored to tears. So we came up with beat the boredom. How do we beat the boredom? Okay, and we're very lucky here in as far as we're actually living at the adventure center. So because I was putting 7 days a week, I'd do 2 days in London, with the IT companies, and I'd come out here from Wednesday until Sunday, and I'd go back to London. Because we're here all the time, we're actually staying here. So lockdown, I am the luckiest person in the country with lockdown, because I have my own gym, I have my own pool, I have a wind tunnel. Last night we were surfing.
You've got your unicorn.
I've got my unicorn. My unicorn in the corner. He's a bit deflated though, because he's had a hard day.
He always is deflated. Yeah, I understand.
We took him on the wave yesterday, so he's a bit bad. I'll send you a picture.
Please do.
So really, it was just about a case then of what can we do to make it better. When you have 10 grand a day coming in, your cash flow goes away. And then the story started unfolding. Then it was, okay, the government's going to pay you some money for your staff if you furlough them. Okay, the government will give you, they'll give you a 25 grand grant if you're in the leisure centre. Okay, well that'll help us. And that then, every time the doors open, quite often they close again. Because then the government turned around and said, well, you have to have a rateable value of under £51,000 to get this grant. And our rateable value is much more than that, but we're still a small business, so we were totally cut out of that. Then it was really well, fight for this loan, fight for that loan, speak to the landlords, try and get the staff sorted out, get all the HR stuff done, and all this movement is going on. And luckily, I've got good people with me, and they were taking off some of that, and I could put some effort into how do we actually start making money again. What is the world going to need? And the world is going to need entertainment. So we have an escape room here that we put in December last year.
I'm so excited about this escape room. Like I haven't booked it yet, but I'm going to book it. I've got to come on this escape room.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. I'll tell you about the VIP one that we're releasing today. So
awesome.
So the escape room. I thought, well, what are the guys doing? They're coming here and they're saying, well, keep me entertained, lock me in a room, and let me out. So I thought, okay, well, how can I take that to people's homes? And we started working with different ideas. One idea was to have WhatsApp calls, WhatsApp video calls, and I'd have four avatars in the room, and then people would call to the avatars and tell them what to do. But when we were going through the testing, that actually was quite a lot more difficult because we don't have the space there. So we moved it back. We now have one avatar, and that one avatar will follow directions of the people that are on a Zoom call. We all love Zoom now. Zoom's obviously approved itself as a medium. So now if you book 10 people to come on your escape room with us, you'll come on, you'll get introduced to the games master, you'll then get introduced to Trooper, who's your personal avatar, and Trooper will then start to take over, and he'll start the game, and he becomes part of your team, becomes your hands and your eyes, and off he goes. We have
more exciting than just a quiz, right, Roy?
Right, yeah, way more exciting than just a quiz. Yeah, and I think this is where you think about the risk taking. You think about thinking outside the box. I mean, I've got an engineer working here. I've got two engineers working here, both Wintel instructors. We all did our Wintel instructor course together. Yes, I'm a Wintel instructor. So we have these three guys that are very, very technical. Okay, and they kind of thought I was nuts. They thought I was loopy. Yeah, honestly, everyone I spoke to thought I was nuts. Yeah, and they were saying to me, okay, we'll go and do that. And you can just tell that they're not engaged with it, right? You can just say they're saying to you, yes, boss, but they don't mean that at all. And she actually said to me, one of the guys actually said to me, listen, I thought you were nuts. But then we put it in, and we did a couple of tests, and got some friends in to do some tests, and they were like, yeah, that's great. And then and Stu and Lee, who are the avatars, and the games master, the guys who were here, they've made it their own, and they've just taken it from one level to the next level to the next level.
That's incredible.
And now we're
innovation. That's true innovation right there, and it's the necessity piece. It's like we've got to make something happen here, and I think there's a lot of businesses that are out there that either, I mean, the two choices are sit back, wait, hope, cross your fingers, or go out there all guns blazing, and that's what you're doing. And for me, that's the inspiration. It's going, oh, okay, there are things that can be done. And
I'll just take you a little further on that story, if I may, because the astounding thing was and it touches on the supply and demand. It touches on all these things. So now I have a team of 2 people that are able to run 8 or 6 or 7 sessions in a day, and I can only earn that amount of money from them. So now what do I do? Okay, how do I now? When I say that amount of money, in 2 weeks, we launched this Sunday 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks and 2 days, we sold about 12 grand of these events. We're booked up until halfway through May. Okay, and people are not buying because they can't get the booking because they want to do it tomorrow. So the next challenge then becomes, how do I make another one of these? What do I do with that? And then how do I expand this out going forward? So now we have Morse Code 1, which is the room that's running at the moment. We're building Morse Code 2. We're actually going to build Morse Code 2 into a box. Now, just to explain the concept of escape rooms at the moment, you go to an escape room, you carry out a mission, you have some fun with it, and you leave. Okay. So my next idea is to say, okay, well, how do I take this and expand it out? So Morse Code 2 is going to be built in the format of a box. Okay, so you will be able to put all the clues, the puzzles, the information, everything into a box, and you'll be able to ship it to somebody. So now when you have your next dinner party at home, I can ship you an escape room that you can do for your dinner party.
Fabulous.
But what that means now is I can if I can get that set up right, and we're going through it at the moment, I will set up one of these escape room in boxes in one of my other spare rooms at the moment we're not using. I'll bring some staff off furlough, and they can run that. If that works relatively well, I can expand my capacity from 1 room at the moment to 10 rooms overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just the same thing.
Classic scalability question, and you've managed to, in a time where there's been an absolute necessity for it, you've been able to go, right, okay, here we go, this works, now let's scale it. And it may be, do you see yourself as doing this as well as going forward? Is this going to be
100%? Yeah. No. Think about the opportunity from the point of view of what we were and what we are now. Yeah. Okay, so if you can evolve yourself in a time of change, you can catch the most opportunities. Okay, and time of change is where millionaires are made. It's at that point. One day maybe I'll be one. Yeah. So this is all the risk taking. I keep on putting the money back in again. But if I now have a site location where people have to come to, site specific location where people have to come to, okay, I'm limited by my geography. Okay, I've now taken this and I've said, here's the CCTV, or here's a web-based product that can go worldwide. Okay, I've actually first of all expanded my normal marketing sphere, which is around Bedford and maybe X number of minutes away from here, 45 minutes away from here. I've now expanded to the UK, and boom, I have another market. Okay, I then expand out, and after 10 o'clock at night, I've got the whole of America that goes 5, 6, 7 o'clock all the way across America from 11 o'clock at night, all the way through to the morning. So I put next people in there. So now instead of being a location-based business, okay, we're taking entertainment to the companies. To the rest of the world. Yeah.
Fabulous.
And then we've extended that, so we now have the B2C piece. Okay, which is great. The individuals are loving it. But how do I make more money with every hour that I've got there? Okay, so I'm busy finish writing my first team building.
This is the VIP.
No, this is the team building one. So So to the team building piece, well, you come in with 4 teams of 4 or 4 teams of 5. Within each team, you'll have a collaborator, you'll have a timekeeper, you'll have a strategist, and you'll have a communicator, and those 4 teams will go into the escape room as well, or 5 teams will go into the escape room. They'll have a set of different mechanisms. So within the room, we have a 360 picture, for example, and the avatar is now a limited resource, so we have to train the team to communicate correctly internally, to then break out and communicate with a wider project team. So the whole lot is a wider project team, and the project is to solve the puzzle. But how do we break that down using the resources we've got, and where we're going? So we break down this 360 picture of the room into 4 sections. We say, right, each of you has 1 session to look at. I'll guide them through how they need to use the individuals and how they need to specify the individuals as team people, and then they'll then take that forward and have a time slot with the avatar to say, okay, Mr. Avatar, you're now out for the next 5 minutes. I need you to go and pick that thing up there, do that thing over there, bring that all to the front and wait, and I'm going to pass you over to the next team. Okay, great. Now internally they say, well, we found this, this, and this. What do we need to do with this? Okay, well, we need to wait for the next team. The next team brings their stuff in. And that then, as a corporate piece, allows team building. It allows something that's massively lacking at the moment for corporates. It uses a mechanism that they're using at the moment, and it makes them more efficient and within that mechanism, and it helps them build their team spirit and team communication. So yeah.
I wondered what you would tell yourself of like a year ago. Now what message would you give yourself of a year ago? Like, what lessons from this would you be like, oh my God?
Keep the faith. Keep the faith.
Keep the faith. Yeah.
Keep on believing in yourself and keep on pushing. I mean, we haven't made it yet. Yeah, and when I was 20 years old, I got run over by a drunken driver. and I had my leg broken. I had 260 stitches in my face. I had my arm broken, and I was lying in the middle of the road on the motorway, and I had two people that were standing either side of me, so the cars didn't drive over me. And from the whole period, all I took away from that is the stuff that I hadn't done, I wished I'd done them. The stuff that I had done, I didn't regret. I regretted a couple of things, but it wasn't about to regret. I regretted what I hadn't done. And I've always worked on the basis that I live today as well as I can live today. And if I die on the way out of the meeting, am I happy? I'm happy. And what this last year has given me has been so much experience, painful experience, massively painful experience, but so much experience that I wouldn't change it for that piece. I change it for how it's hurt other people. I mean, we had, just to give you a small flavor of it, our main revenue in this tunnel is this business is one tunnel. UK Power Networks transformer blew up, so we were turned off for 4.5 months in the first year of the acquisition. So
these are all companies that you've purchased. So these 12 companies you've purchased, have you built them up?
So I mean, I've over the years I've generally started and built up. So my first company was in 97, 98. That didn't really go anywhere. My second one was ECMSP, which was the main IT company. I started with no capital, no money, no anything in the back room of my house. I walked out of being £150,000 a year job, which I spent all because that was that was how you managed to live that lifestyle. I had not very much. Had a kid on the way and a house that I just bought, there I'm starting this new company. And went out, and it became about because the previous owner of the previous company, myself, fell out, and we went our own separate ways. And when one door closes, another opens. I thought I'd go out and I'd be able to go and say, okay, well, go to all the companies that I've been working with and say, just come work with me. It doesn't work like that because you don't have any history, you don't have any backing, you don't have any, so you're out on your own. And then people get too proud and they don't do anything. I was like, no, I'm not proud. I'll go and I started fixing people's PCs at home. And I went out, and in the first year I did 100,000 turnover, by myself. In the second year I brought in other people, did 250,000 turnover, and that was mainly working at people's homes. And because of that, they then turned around and said, well, actually, you can come and do my office. And we built it up that way.
Wow.
So you have to roll with the punches. You really have to roll with the punches, but then you have to adapt and change and do something else. Don't be too proud of you. I've set that up, so therefore it has to work. If it's failed, it's failed. It's a lesson. Life is to grasp those things, bring them to you, learn those lessons, because that's all it's about.
It's about. I totally agree with you. And actually, it's the regrets later on of, oh, if only I hadn't done. It's more the things you don't do than the things you do, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely. All right, I've got a few more things to ask about that. Like a few more things to ask about. We talked about the escape room. I love the idea. I can't wait to join up. Although it will probably be in May now because I've not been quick enough to organise that. I wanted to talk about some of the acquisitions you have made, some of the downfalls, like some of the mistakes that you've made that you're like, that was a. Any ideas that you can pass on to other people? You say, if I were to know what I know now, this is what I would do next time around.
Well, I mean, two main points. So when I acquired the IT Computers in the City, the IT company that I first worked in, the legal process was very, very difficult because there's two different views on it. And I went out to a lawyer. I trusted what the lawyer said. We went through a whole process of a heap of different things. And the one document that starts out being 1 page suddenly becomes 75 pages. And in that whole process, the one thing that the lawyers didn't do is work out the correct timing of the payments. So for example, I was working on a buyout, so I worked out on a 20% buyout over 3 years. And when we discussed it, the discussion was that we'd have a 6-month window, and then we'd work out what happened in that 6 months, and we'd pay it 30 days later. Okay, and we had to have that time because we couldn't work it out that quickly. And then when we got to the first 6 months, the documents didn't actually say that correctly. The guy wanted his money then and there on day 2. Yeah, so it's making sure that it's very, very clear that you can't, you don't get baffled with the legal speak, yeah, and you know when the money is getting paid. Yeah, that really is a big one. The other one was this place, you know, the Twinwoods Adventure. You know, Twinwoods Adventure. You know, as a lawyer, you would have told me don't touch it with a barge pole.
Would I?
No, it's just, yeah. The guy we bought it from is a German guy. He's got more money than sense. Okay, he's kind of not been involved with it very much at all for years and years and years. You know, the manager that was on site was more involved with it, and this guy didn't. He literally did not want to do one single document. Okay, he wanted me to pay him. He wanted me to pay him the money, and he'd send me an invoice. Yeah, so we managed to get him up to we got him up to about a 20-page SPA, but that was a massive push. Yeah, it was a massive push, and it didn't really protect a huge amount of anything. So we did the due diligence, and it's like, yeah, it's knackered, tough. Yeah, you buy. I mean, to be fair, we got we're buying it out of CVA, which was another challenge I didn't understand. We're buying it with hardware costs and things that we kind of had an idea of, but yeah, they all ran together, because if life can poke you in the eye, it will. Yeah, so all of those things, would I have still bought it? If you'd asked me before COVID, I would have said probably not.
Interesting.
Right now, I'm so super excited. Right now, I think I think the world is my oyster right now, because it actually is. Yeah, we're inventing a whole new the leisure industry is inventing a whole new way of working, a whole new way of being. Yeah, and nobody knows where it is yet. Yeah, so. I mean, yeah, I can see in 6 months' time, I can see people doing gigs, big stars doing gigs that's just on a pay-per-view, but on a Zoom type of thing. Yeah, just with more interaction. Yeah, because it's the interaction that we crave as humans. Yeah, and it's doing the things we did before, but in a way that we're distanced.
Yeah, and I wonder. I mean, I always think there's several groups: the leisure industry and the events industry as well. I think it could be, I mean, of course I can't predict any of this, but it could be that it kind of crashes, bottoms out, and things are never the same. But it could be just that coming out of that, everybody's like, get me back to that escape room so I can experience it face to face. I want to be on that surf, you know, I want to be around lots of people in the swimming pools. It could. I
think you're gonna have two ways, aren't you? You're gonna have a bunch of people that go that way. Okay, all the Belgians will be able to have their parties again. I don't know if you saw that article.
I didn't know.
Yeah, the Belgian minister said sex parties of more than 3 people were banned. Yeah, because a 500-person party went mad and a whole bunch of people got COVID. So they'll probably be back to their way. But you're going to have a big portion of the population that just they'll be too scared to do anything now. Yeah,
I think you're true. Yeah. I think that's very true. I'm not a goer outer person. Don't even know what that is. But I'm not really an extroverted. Let me go to lots of things. I'm not that type of person anyway. So I'm generally at home, and this is quite a nice opportunity for everybody to be at home. I imagine. But yeah, I mean, I think it's funny because I go in the opposite direction. My mind is, can't wait to be at these sorts of opportunities again.
But I mean, as we open, as we open, what are we going to have to do? So how are we going to do it? How are we going to have the social distancing? How are we're going to have to adjust all of how we do things? We normally have 15 people flying in the wind tunnel, so at once we're not going to be able to do 15 people in half an hour anymore. We're going to have to change something. On our surfing, we have up to 16 people surfing. That's going to have to change. So there's a whole bunch of change coming, but I think the next 6 months at least, people are going to be very, very cautious about going out and meeting. They're not necessarily going to be cautious about spending, but just going out and meeting. Because the government has done quite well in saying, like, most people have a salary. So therefore they have disposable income. They're not traveling to work. They're not doing the meals out. They're not doing all those things. So their disposable income is going to be bigger. And as business, if you can tap into that disposable income, give the guys a good experience that they can enjoy, then everyone's going to come back happy. We don't have one bad review. We've had I don't know, what have we had? 7 or 8 a day for the last 2 weeks. So almost 50 people, I guess now. Come through the escape room, and at the end of the call, I jump on the call and listen, and they're because it's a Zoom call all the way through. You try and get their views, and everyone's just buzzing about it. It really is buzzing. So I think the opportunity is great. It's magic.
I think that is a great place to end on. The opportunity is great. I think that's the inspiration I think a lot of us are looking for in the SME world, and just be reminded, like, there are people out there like you that are dynamically moving things forward, and we've all got the same opportunity at the moment, whether that be furloughed or the business may have crashed, or actually the business is continuing in some way online, but actually there are shifts that can be made to kind of adapt. Look, Roy, how can people get in contact with you? Where is this amazing spa surfing paradise for when things are at?
We're in Bedford, so we're just outside Bedford. About £8 on a cab if you're catching the train from Bedford Station. We have everything here, including a hotel. So we're looking very, very carefully at having the staycations here, because people aren't going to travel. The website, twinwoodsadventure.com. Look us up. You can see everything that's on there, and come and try the escape room. It's good.
I'll make sure everything's at the end of the email as well, so that people can get in contact with you. Roy, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the inspiration and helping to empower and uplift other SMEs today. And appreciate including myself. So appreciate that.
Don't know about that, but thank you.
No, it's brilliant. Thank you. It's given me great food for thought. And thank you everybody that's joined and watched Roy. Get in contact with Roy if you want to go on an escape room. I'm definitely joining that. And look forward to seeing you on the next SME Insights. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sam. Cheers.